Pioneers of Power. Top 10 Heavyweight Boxing Champions of the 50s. Heavyweight boxing experienced a turning point in the 1950s, when strong fighters rose to prominence and changed the face of the sport for future generations. Rocky Marciano's supremacy and Ezzard Charles's tenacity are just two examples of the famous champions who emerged throughout the 1950s and forever changed the course of boxing history. The top 10 heavyweight boxing champions of the 1950s are examined in this video, with special attention paid to their accomplishments, contributions, and the iconic moments that shaped this exciting decade. This is Sweetlick Sports. Enjoy the video. 10. Roland LaStarza. In the 1950s, Roland LaStarza stood out for his technical ability and strategic thinking. His context with heavyweight champions like Rocky Marciano showed off his talent and tenacity. LaStarza's contributions raised the tension in the contests of the time.
Rocky likes to work on his man close to the ropes, where his short reach is an advantage in the infighting. Much of his ring strategy is to work LaStarza toward the strand. Marciano gets LaStarza cornered, and the two men mix it up in a short, furious exchange. LaStarza dances away.
9. Lee Savold. Lee Savold was one of the famous heavyweights of the 1950s, thanks to his boxing prowess and tenacity. His contests with competitors like Ezzard Charles demonstrated his desire to engage in the most intense competition. Savold's career helped the division's depth of talent.
Lee Savold in the darker trunks with a white stripe. Lewis about to land a left hook, driving Savold back to the ropes. Now if you keep your eye on Savold's head, you'll see it snap back once and then again. That's because the bomber was pumping short right uppercuts.
8. Nino Valdez. In the 1950s, Nino Valdez became well known for his strong punches and hard-hitting mannerisms. Even if his attempts to win the title were difficult, the division was made more exciting by his fights with elite competitors. Having Valdez around increased competition during a time of competition.
Archie strikes with lightning fast combination punches that keep the big Cuban on the defensive. Toward the end of the round, both boys remove all the stoppers as they fill the air with flying fists. Valdez is so intent on landing a KO blow that he doesn't hear the bell. He keeps on throwing punches until the referee steps in and pulls the fighters apart.
7. Rex Lane. Early 1950s. Rex Lane's brief stint as champion demonstrated the period's competitiveness. His fights with opponents like Ezzard Charles and Nino Valdez brought attention to the difficulties facing aspiring heavyweights. It is important to recognize Lane's contributions to the time period.
Another terrific right. Lane is stalking him. He's looking to get that one shot in. Do something. A terrific right. I don't think Satterfield can get up. But look at this guy try. I'm wrong. He's gonna make it. But he's hurt bad. What shots? My corner's stopping it. That's good. Satterfield doesn't know where he is.
6. Floyd Patterson. In the 1950s, Floyd Patterson stood out among fighters thanks to his speed and agility. It was a momentous accomplishment for him to defeat Archie Moore and win the heavyweight championship at the age of 21. Patterson embodied the era's emerging brilliance with his young zeal and tenacity. 5. Joe Louis. Joe Louis's influence and presence persisted into the 1950s, despite the fact that his greatest years were the previous decade. The latter half of his brilliant career was defined by his fights with opponents like Ezzard Charles and Rocky Marciano. In the 1950s, Louis's reputation as one of the all-time greats of the sport remained unblemished.
To his corner in helplessness, and Schmeling is down. Schmeling is down. The count is 4. And he's up, and Louis, right and left to the head, a left to the jaw, a right to the head, and Donovan is watching carefully. Louis measures him, right to the body, a left up to the jaw, and Schmeling is down. The count is 5, 6, 7, 8. The men are in the ring. The fight is over on a technical knockout. Max Schmeling.
4. Archie Moore. Archie Moore's 1950s venture into the heavyweight division is noteworthy, even though he is best remembered as a light heavyweight. His trademarks were strong punches and ring savvy, which allowed him to fight some of the most fearsome opponents of the day. Moore should be commended for his accomplishments in the heavyweight and light heavyweight divisions.
As you see, they're working on that eye. You can't see that much, and you have to peek in between.
3. Joe Walcott. Jersey Joe Walcott. The rise of Joe Walcott from obscurity to heavyweight champion was evidence of his tenacity. His tough demeanor and capacity for perseverance made him the champion for the duration of his reign. The 1950s boxing era's major milestones still center on his rivalry with Ezzard Charles and his assistance in the early years of Rocky Marciano's career.
Charles collapses like a sack of grain after that incredibly well-timed punch explodes on his jaw. The champion struggles to rise. He's on his feet, but he stumbles backwards from the continuing effects of that devastating punch. Let's watch that again in knockout slow motion. Walcott comes in almost nonchalantly. Now here comes that left hook. That punch twisted Charles' head almost completely around. Look at his distorted features.
2. Ezzard Charles. In the 1950s, Ezzard Charles' technical proficiency and boxing prowess were unmatched. Despite having a light build for a heavyweight, he defeated strong opponents thanks to his intelligence and cunning approach. His notable victories over Joe Walcott and Jersey Joe Walcott cemented his position as one of the best fighters of the time.
Satterfield moving into Charles gets hit with a terrific left hook, and Satterfield is down.
1. Rocky Marciano. In the 1950s, the legendary Rocky Marciano set the standard for heavyweight supremacy. Marciano's unrelenting work ethic and crushing strength drove him to legendary status, with a flawless record of 49 wins and no losses. He became one of the best heavyweights of all time thanks to his epic fights with people like Joe Walcott and Ezzard Charles, who served as examples of his tenacity and unbreakable character.
And here's Marciano like a tiger swinging across the ring, landing with the midsection, getting his right hand free, dropping the right to head, another solid right hand, and a left to Marciano, and a right hand on the back of the neck. Charles is down. Aldo trying to pick up the count, ladies and gentlemen. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
In the history of heavyweight boxing, the 1950s were a turning point because they saw the ascent of great champions who personified strength, talent, and tenacity. These boxers, from the unbeatable Rocky Marciano to the tactical mastery of Ezzard Charles, left a lasting legacy that still influences the sport today. The 1950s were a shining example of boxing's true character, combining willpower, passion, and talent to produce a time that will live on in the annals of the sport's history. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section if you appreciate this video, and let us know what era you'd like us to do a video on. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more fantastic videos.
Marciano throws a short right, and Lane goes down and out. Marciano knocks out the rugged Rex Lane in 6 rounds.